She was not born to be silent. She was raised among incense-filled halls, taught that her blood was sacred and her voice law. Courtiers bowed when she walked. Generals lowered their eyes. Her name was spoken in prayers and treaties alike. She was a queen by birth, by marriage, by destiny. But destiny meant little when Rome came marching. Rome did not see queens as women. Rome saw symbols. Symbols had value only when they were broken. When Roman legions crossed her borders, they did not come merely for land. They came to erase legitimacy. The burning of cities was easy. The destruction of royal bloodlines was strategic. Her kingdom fell not in a single day, but in a night of screams, fire, and betrayal. The palace gates were smashed. Marble cracked. Gold melted into ash. Her husband, king, protector, sovereign, died somewhere between resistance and inevitability. Her sons were cut down before they could inherit her throne. Her daughters vanished into the chaos, their fates unrecorded, because Rome did not bother to write about those it intended to erase. At dawn, she was dragged from the ruins of her palace. Her crown was ripped away, not ceremoniously but violently. Roman hands did not respect sacred objects. Chains replaced silk. Dirt replaced incense. The woman who once judged disputes now stood judged herself, measured like livestock by men who spoke of her value in practical terms. Youth, beauty, obedience. For Rome, capture was not the end of war, it was the final act. She was not executed. Execution was reserved for men, who could still inspire rebellion. Women were more useful alive. Alive, they could be displayed. Alive, they could be humiliated. Alive, they could be repurposed. She was marched for weeks, barefoot through dust and stone, surrounded by Roman soldiers who joked in a language she barely understood. Every step away from her homeland stripped her of something invisible but vital. By the time she reached the coast, she was already no longer a queen in the Roman mind. She was spoils. The ship carried her not just across the sea, but across identity. Rome was a machine that consumed names. Upon arrival, her name, spoken with reverence for generations, was discarded. Roman scribes wrote her down as the captured woman, as foreign noble, as royal female. Her lineage was reduced to a footnote. Then came the triumph. Rome celebrated victory not with silence, but with spectacle. The streets filled with cheering crowds hungry for proof of Roman supremacy. Gold and silver from conquered lands glittered in the sun. Captured weapons were paraded like toys. And then came the captives. She walked behind the general's chariot, chained, dressed not in rags, but in carefully chosen garments meant to mock her former status. Rich enough to remind the crowd she had once been important. Degrading enough to show she was no longer anything at all. The crowd roared. They did not see her pain. They saw Rome's power made flesh. Some queens begged during these marches. Others held their heads high. Rome punished both equally. After the triumph, men were executed. Kings were strangled in prisons. Women were sorted. Youthful royal women faced one fate: absorption into Roman households. Not marriage, never equality. Concubinage. Rome told itself a story, that this was mercy. That life in a Roman villa was preferable to death. That obedience was survival. But mercy does not require the erasure of identity. She was assigned to a Roman noble, a man whose political career would benefit from possessing a living symbol of conquest. She was brought into his household not as a wife, but as an object that whispered of victory every time guests visited. She learned Roman customs not by choice, but by punishment. Latin replaced her native tongue. Her clothing changed. Her posture changed. Even her gaze changed, from command to caution. She was renamed. Her past was not to be spoken of. A queen who remembered herself was dangerous. In Rome, concubines existed in a space between visibility and silence. They were seen, desired, used, but never acknowledged. She could bear children, but those children would never inherit. Their blood would be Roman only when it benefited Rome, that if inconvenient, they too would be erased. Nights were the hardest. The villa was quiet, but her mind was not. She remembered judgment halls, festivals, the weight of a crown. She remembered being addressed, not summoned. Now, a bell could call her presence. A gesture could dismiss her. Her body belonged to another empire. Rome did not beat her often. It did not need to. Psychological conquest was more effective. Every reminder of her dependency was a blow. Every denial of agency was a wound. Over time, resistance dulled. Not because she forgot who she was, but because survival demanded adaptation. Some royal women resisted until death. They starved themselves. They took poison. They provoked punishment. Rome recorded these as tragic endings, never acknowledging that these women chose death over erasure. Others survived. Survival, however, came at a cost Rome never counted. Years passed. New wars replaced old ones. New queens were captured, paraded, broken. She became a cautionary tale within the household, proof that even royalty could be reduced. Sometimes Roman women looked at her with curiosity, sometimes with contempt, sometimes with fear. For if Rome could do this to a queen, what did status truly mean? History rarely records what she felt when she realized Rome had won more than land. Rome had rewritten the future. Her lineage would not rule again. Her culture would be absorbed, diluted, forgotten. Her body might live, but her sovereignty was dead, and that was Rome's greatest victory. Rome did not merely conquer with swords. It conquered with systems. It turned queens into concubines, symbols into possessions, legacies into shadows by breaking royal women. Rome ensured that even memory would submit. Centuries later, marble statues still stand. Generals are remembered. Triumphs are celebrated. But the women, queens who became concubines, exist only between the lines of history, their stories whispered, not proclaimed. Yet they mattered, because empires rise on conquest, but they reveal their true nature in how they treat the defeated. And Rome's treatment of royal women tells us everything.